Thank you so much, Chris. And we have an Alberta clipper headed our way later this week. By about the midweek, we have some snow on the way. And yes, it will create actually a Chinook in the west. Let's take a look at our short-term forecast. Epic snow this past weekend, but it doesn't take much to slicken up some of those roads, especially north of the major urban centers. But when we look at our system right now, that easterly flow, we've seen some lake effect here around the QEW. That's all easing as high pressure builds in. Now the focus will be on the clipper, and it's coming in to us from the west with about 5 or so centimeters of snow, maybe some lingering flurries on Thursday, Friday. However, the more important thing to note with this is after this nuisance snow comes through, we will see some very cold temperatures. And if we were to broaden this view, you'd see that there's a big ridge building in across the west, so warmth, and then we're stuck in the cold. We're talking in some cases here extreme cold, temperatures during the day in the minus teens and the overnight lows in the minus 20s. The coldest air of the season, at least that's how it appears at this point. And it's going to be for a long duration of time, it appears, with this pattern setup. And today on the west end of Lake Ontario, because we have an easterly flow on Lake Ontario, there is some lake effect that continues. Now, is it possible that some of that could reach into the GTA? Let's go over to Kevin Yard, though. He is in Burlington monitoring the conditions outside. Thank you so much, Kevin. Yeah, bring it on. Unfortunately, that's not the case. The weather is not cooperating with that plan. We've got the coldest air of the season yet to come. By the end of this week, we will be in the extreme cold. For the time being, though, let's watch this clipper come in. It's after this clipper that we get into the cold. This one will bring about 5 or so centimeters of snow by about Wednesday through Thursday. Off it goes, and that's when the cold air begins to settle in, and we're talking temperatures by Friday in the minus teens, minus 20s. Thank you so much for that, Michelle. Eye-opening, isn't it? Wish we had those same capabilities. Let's turn it over to our forecast down toward, again, Grimsby, Stony Creek, getting a little bit of lake effect on the west end here, just with that easterly flow. The system's moving away, the winds ease, the high pressure builds in, but we have another clipper coming in, and that's coming in from the west. This one will bring about 5 centimeters of snow to us. Timing on this is more so in the midweek, so Wednesday we'll see a bit of snow. But behind that, that's when we start to see the extreme cold settling in. We're talking temperatures in the minus 20s. Probably the coldest air of the season is upon us. And we've had some cold air, haven't we? But this is likely to be worse. This high pressure builds in, and that's seasonal in the east. So there's our snowfall Wednesday and Thursday. Notice the temperatures here. So we're talking wind chills in the minus teens, minus 20s. We'll likely be in that for a little while into the end of February, the beginning of March. Hamilton, minus 8 on Thursday, followed by minus 14 on Friday. Thanks so much, Jacqueline. We've got some really cold air on the way by the end of this week. So these temperatures are downright balmy compared to where we will be. Thanks, Kevin. Well, we have some more snow on the way, actually. It's from a clipper that's coming in from Western Canada. For the time being, though, getting rid of the lake effect with that easterly flow off of Lake Ontario, which is about 25% frozen over at this point, but it's going to be frozen over a lot more by this weekend because this cold air is coming in. But the lake effect eases, we get high pressure for a time, and then the clipper comes through. This one will bring us about 5 centimeters of snow, so here it comes. Off it goes, but notice what comes in behind it, the big blue H, these low pressure systems. We're talking temperatures in the teens, in the 20s, minus 20s, and the overnights, minus mid-20 wind chills, so maybe even the coldest air of the season that we've seen so far. For the time being, though, yeah, it's still cold overnight with temperatures in about the minus 12 range. So I was talking to my father-in-law the other day. We're talking about outdoor skating, and he was saying that back in the old days, you really couldn't maintain an outdoor skating rink after about mid-February because it started to just get a little bit too mild. But I don't think that that's going to be the case this year, though. Certainly the end of February and the beginning of March appear to be very cold for us in southern Ontario. It's like the long and short of it is make the most of winter. And we've got more to come for sure with regard to snowfall. So right now that lake effect we've been seeing on the west end of Lake Ontario easing. We have high pressure. It's cold the next couple of days. Then we have our clipper system coming in. This will bring us about 5 centimeters of snow Wednesday and lingering on Thursday. The pattern change is underway. If you watch the Long Ranger, the last many days we've been talking about how the east is going to be in the extreme cold, and then the west is going to see the big rise, so a very amplified jet stream, meaning it goes up and it comes way down below us, meaning that we're in below seasonal temperatures. Case in point, Toronto, here's that snow from the clipper, but once the clipper passes, then the temperatures really drop off. Look at the overnight lows, down into the minus mid-20s. So this could be a spell. It's going to last longer than this 7-day snapshot, but we're talking about very cold temperatures, possibly the coldest of the year so far. Oh, so cute. Coming toward the camera. Well, we do have some snowfall on the way still in southern Manitoba. Winnipeg not set to see quite as much as, say, Brandon or Regina in the 10 to 15 centimeter range. And then southern Alberta getting some snow, but less than 3 centimeters in Calgary and nothing expected in Edmonton. Now for BC, on the other hand, we have had some rain showers and we'll continue to see that until we get that break where the big ridge is going to set up across the west. By contrast, eastern Canada gets a lot colder behind these clipper systems that are coming in from the west. I'm Sheryl Plouffe with your weather update. Were you out and about yesterday? Well, the temperatures were cold around the GTA. Pearson International recorded minus 10. Colder by the end of the week. We've got a couple of clipper systems headed our way. And after those systems, so by about Friday, we are going to be in the cold, and that's going to last likely right through the weekend. Put together this list, though. I found this interesting. We took 4 select cities. Look, Toronto coming in at 81 centimeters. Now, when we look at the next round of weather, it's coming in from a clipper. Today's issue is more so the fetch on Lake Ontario, which at this point is about 25% ice covered. We do have enough available moisture to result in some lake effect, but that's easing as we go into tomorrow. Hamilton, 101 centimeters of snow this winter. And then the top of this list is Windsor, just of these 4 select areas. But still, Windsor having seen over 200 centimeters of snow. I was surprised to see that number, frankly. And then you look at Atlantic Canada to give it some comparison. You know, Moncton has seen 284 centimeters of snow. Matt, 168 centimeters of snow. And even Terrace saw 159. Why is that? Because we had the Pineapple Express, and it resulted in snow to the north and at elevation, and also further south we saw a lot of rainfall. So there is still a little bit more snow to come, but not as much as when we had the Pineapple Express active across BC, in fact. But now we're dealing with some snow. This clipper system moving through southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba. We're talking 10 to 15 centimeters of snow. And then southern Alberta really not seeing all that much more snow to come with this. And overall, we don't have much in the way of weather, but cloud cover and maybe some flurries as this system departs. We get a couple of days of fair weather and bright skies ahead of us. However, this next clipper, that one we just talked about in Saskatchewan, moves over the Great Lakes Basin. And with that, we're not going to see quite as much across southern Ontario, more in the range of, say, 5 centimeters, but to the north it may be a little bit more impressive in terms of totals. There is an offshore low right now for Nova Scotia that's bringing today and through Tuesday to 10 centimeters of snow. So the highlights on Tuesday, what's happening is that this jet stream pattern is beginning to change. You can actually start to see how this ridge is building up across the west. And then we have our clipper system. But as we set this in motion, it becomes much more pronounced. So the ridge really digs in, or rather the trough digs in, but the ridge really builds up nicely over Western Canada this week.
Good morning to everyone across the country. I'm meteorologist Jacqueline Whittle. Joining me is Sheryl Plouffe. We'll talk a little bit about the cold air here. Minus 21 in Edmonton. Some freezing rain happening out west. Minus 21 for you in Winnipeg this afternoon. Pretty cold out in the east as well. Minus 17.
Yeah, let's go to Ancaster, Ontario, because look at this scene. Leg is going to be participating. He's actually going to go with a pink mohawk.
Yes, he is.
We're going to hear from him a bit later.
And then they shave their head on the 21st, and it's just a great cause. So, okay, let's show you this. This video, by the way, got 100,000 views. This is Nathan Coleman walking through the snowbanks. How cute is this story that Nate put together about this dog? Have a look.